Hello, my friends in the internet universe. My name is Linda. I have a business called Sweet Aria Decor. Aria is my daughter. And I make things like wreaths, bows, arrangements, all sorts of stuff, but I also sell supplies. What we're doing tonight is I'm trying to use up supplies I already had from the last couple of years. So this is me just kind of use up what I had in my own personal stash. So I don't have any of these available right now in my shop, but I will have bunny butts, not necessarily this style, but other styles of bunny butts and ears coming within the next 2 days. All right. So we are going to use this as our focal point. Doing the butt. Yeah. Okay. Super cute. It's got a little tail. It's got little carrots coming out. And this attachment already has wires. So we're going to be able to attach this to the wreath. We're going to fill this evergreen wreath with this kind of mesh. We're going to put a bow here. We're going to put these cute little ears coming out over the top, right? Where do they go? Which side? This side, I think. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out which side they go on. All right, but we are going to use these ears. And then we have some florals here, some picks, and then some beautiful ribbons. Now, I didn't realize I had this one in my stash, but I pulled it out, and I noticed how well it went with the pattern here. That's with the little, I don't know what kind of florals they are, but the little flowers, it matches perfectly. So we're kind of doing like a lavender with a yellow. And I know it's not traditional Easter colors, but that's all right. We have our fancy panty ribbon, right, with a scalloped lace edge. And then I just ran across this in my stash. We're going to use this as the 1.5. It's a plaid. It's yellow with some white in there. Super pretty. Got some florals. For right now, I'm going to move the ribbon off to the side, I don't need that right now, but let's talk what we're going to do to our friend over here. Okay, friend, you go there. Friend's ears, you stay there. Okay, we have this evergreen wreath, and this is what we're going to build everything on. Okay, this is a double ring wreath, meaning that there is 2 rings. This is a really, really good, sturdy base. This came from Hobby Lobby's Christmas section. I bought a whole bunch of them 2 years ago, and I still have a lot. I didn't even buy any last year. That's how much I had. But we're going to cut mesh, and we're going to put mesh inside here to kind of build this up. So all this green, you're not going to see any of it, okay? So to do that, I need to cut some mesh pieces. Now, normally, when I make a regular wreath and stuff, I'll cut it at 18 inches if I'm doing like a pancake wreath and whatnot. This, I want to cut this at like, I'm trying to use less. So I think we're going to cut this at maybe, let's do 24 inches, because I don't have to fill the whole thing. I just have to put enough in there to kind of build up a good solid base. So we're going to do 24 inches. Now, I have a mesh roller over here. It's going to hold the mesh for me while I roll. I'm on a roll, baby. All right, I want to make sure I say hello to all of my friends coming in first of all. So, Leslie, Phyllis, and Dory. Hey, ladies, how's it going tonight? Hopefully everything's going well for you. Tomorrow, I'm going to Craig Bachman to pick up more supplies. Oh, I'm a bad girl. Naughty Linda. Bad, bad, bad. Yeah, I keep buying more supplies. But it's all to resell or it's for kits. So, you know, every penny that I make from the business, I'm reinvesting into more supplies. So, my business is growing, as is my waistline. But that's a whole other story. All right, I've got these 2 on here. Now, what helps is if I can layer these 2, then I don't have to cut once, right? So I can cut 2 pieces of mesh with just 1 roll. I do recommend having a rotary cutter. I love this. The blades are replaceable. Always get one that has a cover that will protect your fingers. Ask me how I know. All right, here we go. Get rid of the little extra stuff. All right, I'm gonna pull this out to 24 inches because we're not gonna have too tight of a cruffles in these. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut as much as I can. I like to kind of lay this on top of each other. Otherwise, it just starts spilling out and making a big mess. So it takes me a little bit longer, but it doesn't roll off the end of my table this way, and I don't get frustrated because it really is hard for me to keep working when I get really freaking frustrated, right? Then I don't feel creative. I feel ticked off, and I don't want to feel that when I'm making stuff. So I have my FB friends over here. I have my YT friends over here. If anything gets cut off on YT, you can always jump over to the FB and find me there. Last time it cut off the last 10 minutes of my live, and I don't know why. But I was a little angry. I was a little angry about that. I was not too happy. Let me go see if I can bring it up over here. I just want to bring it up in another window to see if I can actually watch myself on the YT as I am live. That way I can kind of check back and forth. I just want to make sure it's still streaming, right? Yeah, here we go. I can do both. Well, look at that. I'm going to move this to a new window. I can watch myself 2 at once. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Watching myself do 2 things at a time. Insane. Awesome. Perfect. I'm trying to grow my YT audience. So this is fun. I've been trying to go live more over there just because I used to be on the Tiki Talkie, and it just doesn't feel like that's where it's at anymore, you know? I did do a Whatnot sale live last night. That was my very first Whatnot. I learned a lot. I have to work on how I set up my shipping, because that part, that's what threw me. It wasn't going live, wasn't showing items. It was like, how is the shipping going to work on the back end? And how do I set it up so I don't end up having to pay for a lot of the shipping? Because, you know, that happens. Okay. So sometimes I'll cut a bunch and I'll kind of like use my big old belly, okay? The muffin top is good for something. And I'll just kind of bring it here, roll it down. There we go. This helps me stack it. Just makes it easier, right? Here we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but otherwise you can also put it in a basket. I'm just short on desk space here, so this is kind of just how I do it. Do it however works for you. All right, just a couple more to go, a couple more to cut on here. I think the lavender, once we bunch it up, the lavender is really going to pop a little bit more. Right now, it kind of looks a little dull, just because we're not really able to see a whole lot. But that's okay. It's going to, once we cruffle it up, it's going to end up being against itself, and we'll see it much better. This might be the last one we do. All right, let's see how far we can get out of this. All right, I'm cutting over here. I know you guys can't see. I'm moving it over. Woo! Pop, pop, pop. Oh, well, that works for that. I guess I'll cut this off of here. And that just moved by itself. It scared me for a second. I was like, oh crap, my mesh is haunted. All right, but I do need to get the tape off the bottom. Here we go. Now everyone can see Linda's double chin. Hey there. All right. Perfect. All right, cool. All right, so we got our mesh all cut. I have already taken the liberty of pre-fluffing my wreath. But I am going to put this off to the side. I'm going to go put this over here because I need room to work. Oof. It is already getting hot in here now. I would turn on my fan, but unfortunately, I think that would really kind of interfere with what you guys are hearing. Or maybe not. Let me know. I'm going to turn on the fan. Let me know if that is distracting, if you want it turned off. Okay? Because Mama Linda is having a hot flash. Whoa, that's a big one. Oh my gosh. All right, Phyllis. Oh, Phyllis does the tomato cage trees. She's doing Santas and Angels. Aren't they fun? They are so fun. Tanika, thanks for joining in. Mary Lou was my very first purchase on Whatnot last night. I was so excited. Mary Lou, thank you. It was a fun night. I gotta say, talking nonstop for 2 hours for someone who's naturally introverted was a challenge. But it was okay. It was okay. But boy, did I drink a lot of liquid after that. Okay, so we have, this is our cruffle. We're going to turn it into a cruffle. We hold it out. It's going to want to curl up like that. We're going to let it, okay? It's kind of curled up like that. We're just going to kind of bunch it up, right? It's made a ruffle. This ain't a science. Just go in, find a spot, toss it in, and twist it right into the branches, okay? So that's what we're going for. How did I do that? Let's do it again. Let's take a closer look, okay? Cruffling, so we got the edges. If you keep the edges curled in like this, this is going to keep the edges from fraying, all right? So you want to do that, and then just kind of gather it up the middle. All right, nice, fun little ruffle. Just kind of move it along. Toss one in here. So I've got a spot right here, okay, right between these two. I'm just going to put the mesh right in here. All right, and then just twist these branches together. And there we go. Okay, I'll put some more on the outside. Afterwards, I'm just going to kind of grab some on the inside. The other way you can do it too is putting it on the table. Okay, so I'm putting it on the table here. I'm just going to go up from the bottom. Okay, hold it here, and I'm going to go down from the top, and then I just crunch it up. I'm going to do the rest of them this way, because if I hold them on my chest, I'm going to hit the microphone, and I'm going to annoy you, and you're not going to want that. Unless, maybe you do want me to annoy you. I don't know. I don't think anybody wants me to annoy them. All right, here's the next one. And I might have mesh left over. I don't know. We'll see how far this takes us. But right now, we're just kind of on the inside. All right. I'm going to move the florals too. I need room. I got to air this out, man. I need room to move. There was a song back in the 80s. I think it was Room to Move. And I think it was Cynthia Rhodes singing it. And I don't know if Richard Marx was on it too, but because I know she married him, but I remember that song from the 80s. She was in I don't know, it was a band temporarily, had some kind of name. I can't remember what it was. All right, the next one's kind of going in, again, further down. Now, this is a really nice base. I like the Hobby Lobby ones because they are very sturdy, but here's the thing. This is softer. This is not as scratchy as some of the other evergreen wreaths, so I like it. Mama like, mama like. Here we go. Oh. All right, so are you guys crafting are you guys still doing Easter? Have you moved on to summer? Are you doing patriotic? Pop me a note and tell me, what are you guys working on right now? Because I would love to know. Everybody kind of usually works at a different pace. You know, sometimes people are told you got to hurry up and get this done for this holiday and then move on and do the next one. But like, where are you guys at personally? Diana, it's your first time watching. Well, hello. I promise you'll have fun. I'm going to call you one of my sweeties. Once you've watched and you've joined, then you're officially a sweetie for Sweet Aria Decor. I had this one. It says Public Relations. I had this apron made for my mom back when she would help me at the craft shows and stuff. She was always very personable, very, very talkative. You know, she was always working good with the crowd. Now she kind of, she can't anymore. But, you know, she watches Aria. She'll keep an eye on the kiddo for me. Or maybe it's the kiddo keeping an eye on her. I don't know, sometimes. Aria is just turned 13, so she doesn't really need a babysitter per se, but I always like to know that somebody's here in case she needs something, right? Here we go. This part of wreath making is not super fun, my friends. It's just a part, you know. You gotta build the base. We gotta build the foundation before we can build the house, right? So this is kind of building the foundation. And we're gonna get there. So, see, I got kind of one more spot in here. I'm going to put a purple. All right. And I think because these were cut longer, it's giving a lot more coverage. I used to cut it smaller, and then I found that I'd have to put in a lot more cruffles to cover it. And by watching other wreath makers, and I realized, you know what, I'm not cutting it long enough. So, that's what I'm doing now. Because then it would get like really densely packed, and then it was kind of hard to add stuff in. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far with just mesh kind of put on the inside ring. Remember, there's 2 rings, an inside and an outside ring. Okay, now we're gonna go, all right, like Eminem says, we're gonna go around the outside, around the outside. Yeah. All right, here we go, here we go. I'm gonna say hi to all my friends. Hello to everybody watching over on the YT. How is it going over there? All right, Misty. Hey, Misty. Hey, Misty. Misty from Texas. Misty is very talented wreath maker, y'all. She is so sweet, too. Awesome. Here we go. And again, if you guys can hear that fan, if it's annoying or if it's cutting into the audio, please let me know, because I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Celestial Bollinger. Well, hello. Hopefully you guys you're having fun tonight. All right, this next one. So you see how there's a spot here and a spot here. I don't want to put it in the same spot. I want to go between. Okay, so we're going to stick it in there between. All right, this will be good. Throw it in there. Find another one. Pull and twist. All right, you see how it's kind of coming up and out. And we're going to put in florals, so a lot of this green we're not going to see, but I can always go back into that first layer when I'm done and decide I want to add some more. But this is a fun way to use evergreen wreaths. Get out of the mindset that they're only for Christmas, because they're not anymore, right? Every holiday you can use it. It's a solid base. It's a really good base. So why not use it? There we go. I was like, what's making that noise? The scissors. They're getting scraped around here. Okay. Our next one's probably going to go, right around here. And I don't have to necessarily go right between, because the outside, the circumference, there's a big, I remembered something from math. Circumference is larger around the outside, so we don't want to, if we go strictly between the spots on the inside wreath, it's going to be spread further apart between the cruffles on the outside, and that means you might start seeing some green. So we can just kind of balance that out. I started kind of where I needed to, but then we can move it around. Here we go. Right. I wasn't really sure what I was thinking about the purple and the yellow together. I was like, oh, I don't know. But I think with the bunny, it's going to really bring it all together really nicely. And it's going to be fun. I love doing stuffed attachments. Anything with the butt. I got a thing for butts, can you tell? Oh, my husband had the cutest butt. Oh, he had the best hiney in the world. I could just put my hand on it and cup it, and it was just perfect. I miss that butt. I miss that man. All right. He's watching me from above going, are you going back to the wholesaler again? Where do you think you're going to put this stuff, woman? I don't know. I'll find somewhere. Oh, it has spread everywhere throughout the house. But that's okay, because I don't want to have to pay for eventually, maybe if I have enough, I'm making enough and things are going well, I can rent space. But then if I do that, I'm not at home, and part of the reason I want to do this is that I can be here for Miss Aria, even though all she does is sit upstairs and game. But that's all right. As she gets older, she probably won't need me as much, especially once she learns how to drive. I'm pretty sure that once she can secure her own Taco Bell, she won't need me for anything anymore, and I might not see her for months on end. I don't know. We'll see. She does come down, though, and watch stuff with me. We watch Stranger Things a lot lately. That's kind of our current thing is Stranger Things. We watched an episode last night, and she wanted to watch another one. And I was too scared. I was like, no. We're only on season... I think we have one more episode in season 3. And then we're on season 4, and then we have to watch 5. So, we're behind. I started watching it when Mikey was still here. And I got too scared then. I'm like, all right. I can be brave. We can do hard things. Here we go. Oh, well, that flung right back at me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. My hands are a little bit sore. I used to have an option when I sold my wreath kits. I had an option where you could get it pre-cut, and unfortunately I had to do away with that because my own hands are having issues. So I'm doing the best I can. Oh, now see, sometimes you're going to find I call these little stray chin hairs, right? The little pieces are going to come off. And that's okay. That's mesh. That's what it does. People use wood burners to cut them sometimes. I don't want to breathe that stuff in, so I don't. But if you curl it in, then you're not really going to have the ends fraying, right? Kind of just notice it when you're putting it in. All right? And you can always just stick with, you could do mesh all one color. You can do 2 colors, 3 colors. This is a great way to make a wreath. If you've got a whole bunch of extra mesh in multiple different colors and patterns, and it kind of goes together, then this is a great way to use it in a wreath, because you cover most of it up anyway, but it lets you use up the product that you already have. Like, don't cut from another spool when you can finish using stuff you've got. I have a whole giant, like, I don't know, 60 quart bin over in the corner. It's where I throw all my extra pieces, and then at the end of the season I'll make a wreath with all like all the pastels. So I'll have a pastel wreath that I can make from all this stuff. All right. I'm kind of starting to tighten up the space between them just because I can see it. I just still have quite a bit of mesh left, which is great. Okay, now I'm going to get a yellow one. All right. And then we'll take a look. Do I need to add more? I don't think so, but let's see if there's any spots where it looks like we probably should. Because I do have, it's going to be yellow up against yellow here, and that's okay. That is not the end of the world, my friends. Especially when we go to put on the bunny butt and the legs and everything, you won't even notice. See? I feel like right here I want to add one. So I'm just going to go grab another purple one, right? Woo! I still have quite a bit left. You know, you could do this in a single wreath ring too. So Michaels makes those, like, you can get them for like $5.99 or something. They're very lightweight. They just have this single ring, evergreen. But you can make a smaller version of that. It doesn't have to be a big, huge version like this, you know. But that can be used for, you know, if you got a roll of mesh. All right. Right here, I want to put another one. Alright, so it's kind of just taking a look when I'm done and being like, hey, you know what? That's got a little bit of a gap there. Alright. Where's the other tie? I want 2 near each other, because otherwise if they're too far apart from each other when I'm going to twist, then the mesh could slip out. We don't want that. All right, I really like this yellow mesh. And I think then just one right there. I'm notorious for, oh, just one more, just one more. And that I will go back and check comments. I haven't been checking my comments. I apologize, my friends. Misty, they do need you more when they're older, right? So the good thing when they're younger, yeah, they might physically need you more, but they're at home and you know where they are. Once you don't know where they are, like my oldest biological daughter, she is 28, almost 29. My oldest stepdaughter is going to be, she just turned 31, right? And I gotta tell you, she was heck on wheels. He was a run for our money, that's for sure. But it's funny though. It's like when they get older, sometimes they do need you. They call you for some of the weirdest things sometimes. All right, I'm going to put one more on the inside here. And it's like you try to give them like a basic understanding of how things work in life. But sometimes they call you with some questions. The biggest questions I get from the adult kids are like, these are my possible health insurance plans. Which one do I go with? What does it mean? It's a deductible and an out-of-pocket and all that kind of stuff. So at least that's something I know I can help with. Now, if you're asking me plumbing questions, you're SOL. I don't know. Yeah, a little more, one right there. All right. I told you. I'm the, oh, just one more. Oh, just one more. That's how I got fat, because when it came to cookies, I was like, oh, just one more. Oh, fries. Oh, just one more. Yeah. I'm not into chips, though. That's my daughter's area. She's the salty, I'm the sweet. All right, here we go. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Let's take a look all the way around. It's looking good, okay? Here is the size wreath that we have right now. Fling, there it goes, score! We are measuring at 26 inches wide and probably 7 inches deep. Okay, so now we have this on here. What I want to do now is put on the butt. It's time for the butt. All right. Here we go. It's a butt. Okay, so now there is nothing really in the middle of this, but we're going to put the butt kind of in here. Okay. I want to leave enough room here to make a wreath, or to make a bow, and then the ears are going to poke out of the bow up at the top. So I want enough room for that. So this is kind of where I want Bunny. So we're going to go to the sides with Bunny. So let me see. I want to find a good spot where I can go at it. Here we go. I'm going to untwist. So the wires are kind of twisted together. So I'm going to go untwist. And this is going to go just around the top ring. There's not enough wire to go around rings 1 and 2. So we're just going to go around ring 1. All right. I'm just going to flip it over for a second, just so I can kind of see where this is. Just going to do a little quick wrap. A quick wrap. Yo, yo. No, I don't do that kind of wrap. I am not throwing away my shot. No. I'm definitely not a rapper. That is for darn sure. All right. You know what? This popped. I'm going to add just a little dab of glue. Little dab of glue. There we go. There we go. That one is secure. All right. Here we go. Just trying to find how much room I have. I wish these wires were a little bit longer, but that's okay. But I got this at the Craig Bachman warehouse sale, as where I get a lot of my supplies. So the warehouse sale is in Frankfort, Illinois. So it is, at that point, it's kind of like the southwestern suburbs of Chicago. And twice a year they have the warehouse sale. Business day is on my birthday this year. But I can't make it to business day because I have an obligation. But I will be at the day that's open to the public. So I am going on my mom's birthday, March 17th. So I will be going on my mama's birthday. Of course, I'll go probably take her out to lunch afterwards. All right. So here's the butt. I got to tell you guys, I don't like how down low it is. I don't like it. I'm going to redo it. It's too low. It needs to kind of be more toward the middle, like coming up, right? I think maybe what I need to do is just move one side. So let me undo one side and redo it. So always kind of like put it in there and then hold it up, because gravity plays a part. My boobs know that. Where have you gone? Oh, they're into my lap. That's where they went. All right, I'm undoing this. So maybe I'll have to add some additional floral wire, because I really want to kind of get it. I want to get it over here. So I'm going to try to go more sideways over here. We'll see if I'm able to really get that in or not. It's going to be a tight, tough squeeze. And it's pulling tight on these wires, but I think we'll be okay. All right, come on. I should have straightened the wires out before I tried to redo them, and I'm trying not to hit the microphone. But I'm gonna, so, such is life. All right. These wires, man. These are bendy, bendy, bendy. All right, here we go. And, once we get everything in there and good and secure, Then if we want to move him around a little bit or something, we can always, if you need to, use a little bit of glue, but I typically don't glue them in, right? I don't think we need to. But it adds extra little bit of security. Like if you want things bent a certain way, right, then you can kind of do that with it. All right, come on, give me extra to work with. It's just slightly too short. Like my bank account this month. It's just slightly too short. You know what? I'm going to switch the wires. I think I'm going to put the longer one. One of them is clearly longer. I'm going to put the longer one underneath and come up the wreath frame with it. There we go. Every once in a while, Linda's brain kicks in and there's actually a good thought. Today was that day. Don't expect any more from me for the rest of the week. I'm all tapped out. All right. All righty. I think I'm gonna like this a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot better. Okay. I don't want him to go all the way in. Okay, because I want to be able to see that pattern. Okay, so he's kind of hanging down, and he's looking cute. So we got the butt. All right, we got the butt. Now I want to do the bow. Okay, so let's put this down. Wait, and now I'm debating, do I want to put some 4-inch behind here? I'm trying to think what 4-inch I have. Hold, please. Your call is very important to us. I want to see what I've got. I got some pink and, oh, you know what? I got the perfect, because I wanted to bring in a little bit of pink. Right, because we have pink on the ears, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of pink. We're going to do this plaid as the base, okay? So I'm going to move Mr. Bunny right down here. I got to be careful bending over on a live, because the last time I did it, I farted, and you could hear it. Sorry. All right. Here we go. I need to use a bow maker because I have tendon issues with my hands. Love me tendon. No, you don't. All right. Here we go. See, like when I went to the Craig Bachman sale, I got this years ago. I paid half of that marked price for all this ribbon. So people are like, why are you buying so much? Because I can. It's a good deal. But I'm also going to be buying a lot of that in order to be able to put it in my shop, and then I can sell it for a lower price too, so that way I can bring some of these savings to you. All right? That's at Sweet Aria Decor, and then how a website usually ends. All right? I think for this one, I'm going to do, I'm trying to see how wide it is. It's going to suck in a little bit. I'm going to do a 10-inch tail, okay? Then I'm going to pinch and twist. So in the bow maker, this is the Easy Bows Design Pro. If you go to my link tree, you'll see that there is an affiliate link for that. There is a smaller wood version too. I just like the Pro because it holds a lot more and these don't pop out. All right, I'm pinching and twisting, okay? So I should see the nice pretty thing on the right side and then the ugly back on this side. I should have flipped it around, sorry. All right, so I'm gonna bring it through here and I'm gonna figure out how wide of a loop I wanna do, okay? So right now, this is an 8-inch loop and I think that's pretty good. I don't wanna go any bigger than that, I don't think, okay? So we have an 8-inch loop. Okay, and then in here it came down, so now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pinch and twist. So I'm looking at the back side of this 4-inch ribbon. Don't be afraid to use 4-inch ribbon. It is your friend. It can really elevate your design. I was scared for the longest time to use 4-inch ribbon. So find like a spool that's not expensive and practice with it, right? Okay, I'm going to cut this off a little past 10 inches. Because then I dovetail it. What I do is I put the wired ends together, so it folds in half, and I cut angled from the inside toward the outside, and then you get a nice dovetail finish. Crazy where that name comes from. All right, go put put a pin in this one. All right. Misty, you know, I'm a little nervous for the summit tomorrow, but I'm doing kind of more of a basic design because I want to keep it down to 60 minutes or less. So, I won't tell you what I'm doing. You'll have to watch. But it is, I will give you a hint. It is something that you can make from a kit in my shop. So there we go. No surprise there, because that's what I did last time too. All right. Vintage car stuff. You know, I don't know if there's going to be vintage car stuff. I do know what I am going to be posting in my shop. I have trucks, like it's a vintage truck to use as a planter. I've got a white one I'll be posting and a teal one with leopard spots. But vintage car, I will keep my eye out, okay? And I'm going to go back to the Craig Bachman warehouse sale multiple times. So if I find something for you, Misty, and I don't catch you, then I will go back. I go at least twice, if not 3 times, because there's only so much I can fit in my minivan. All right. Now, this we call fancy panty ribbon. Why? Because look at the edge. It looks like the fancy little lace panties that we had on, the polyester panties that we wore back in the 70s and the early 80s. All right. I like fancy panty ribbon. All right. And then sometimes when you cut it, it'll look kind of weird on the scallop lace. You just kind of boop, and then it looks perfect. There we go. All right. So because I started from the right going to my left last time, now I'm going to start from my left going to my right. Okay. So this one, I'm going to have, I'm going to do a 9-inch tail. I'm pinching and twisting. Okay. And then I should probably pinch and twist the other way because I'm getting a lot of, I'm really twisting it over back here. All right. So this was 8 inches roughly. Where this time we're going to go and probably do a 7-inch loop. Maybe a little bit longer. Like 7.5. We'll do like a 7.5, okay? Pinch and twist. Here we go. Now I'm thinking I want a second 1.5-inch ribbon. We'll have to see. All right, there's a 7-inch. 7.5. Okay, there we go. And then I cut this off a little past 9 so that when I dovetail it, it will be at 9. Here we go. I want to make sure that this is a nice, cute, full bow. I also don't want to sink my bow. My friend Liz from Wreath Design had a reel she did a couple weeks back on not sinking your bow, and that's basically when the bow kind of like sucks in to your design and it goes right, and you want to keep it up there and out there, not looking like it's a clenched butthole. It's kind of what I liken it to. I know I'm probably gross, but like, you know, it just, you don't want it to look like clenched and like you're really tight. You know, you want to let it breathe air out, and then when you pull it too tight, it'll take away some of the width of your bow. So we don't want to do that. Yeah, 4-inch do awesome tails. I'm going to keep some of that out because I think I'm probably going to use that just for filling around here. Now this ribbon, this came from Deco Exchange in one of my Wreath supply boxes. I decided to use it for this. So I don't know if they have any more of this available, but if they do, it is really, really pretty. I like it a lot. I still get their Wreath supply boxes. Great stuff. Now I can start from right going back over to my left. That tail was 9 inches. This tail will be 8 inches. Okay? Pinch and twist. So on the left side, now I'm going to make my first loop. I'm going to make this loop. Let's get loopy. All right, that was 7.5. This one is going to do like, we're going to do like a, we'll do like a 6.5 on this one, okay? 6.5, 6.5. All right, and this one, 6.5. There we go. Okay. Again, that was, I'm going to go past 8 for the tail. Boop, there we go. Tail comes toward me, loop goes away. All right. Now on this one, we're going to have the bunny butt. So this is probably going to not come straight down. It's going to kind of have gap there for the butt. We want to see the butt. All right, I'm going to try to see what else. I wish I had a solid lavender. I'm trying to think what other 1.5 inch ribbon that I could put on there, because I feel like I'm going to want 2 1.5 inchers, right? So I'm debating. I might have to jump over the bunny. Oh God, Linda's going to try to make a wide step. Is she going to fall? Ugh, almost. Holy cow, that was close. That was close, my friends. All right, I am looking over in my ribbon selection, and I do see we're just going to go with a little, I wish I had, oh man, I have that out in the garage. I have a blue out in the garage that would have worked well. Ooh, but I did find something that can work a little bit well toward the end. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do pink. All right. Doing pink. Well, hello everybody over on YT. Hello, Holly French. Good to see you. Jeannie, yeah. 4-inch tails. Gotta love some 4-inch tails. Here we go. All right, starting left to right. Tail at 6.5. All right. Now this is a 1.5 inch. I usually like to come in about a full inch when I go between my 2.5 to my 1.5. And you can always put a 1.5 in there. I just always like to put at least 1 to 2 1.5. And that was 5.5 on the loop. All right. Go back over here. Here we go. Nice. I love making bows. Could do it for the rest of my life. I probably will. All right. Get the pin back in this. I am very anal about repinning my ribbon right away. I don't know why. It's just my thing. You go there. Fling. All right. Oh, the first time using this spool. It's going to be so pretty. So this one, I think I got this from Craft Outlet. Let me double check. Yeah, so this is Q501909-850. 100% polyester, as is most of the ribbon we use. I am trying to start using some higher end. I do have some Ferrosilk that I use here and there. Not so much with the Easter stuff, though I do have it. But I'm trying to keep my price point lower so that I can appeal to a wider audience, right? Not everybody can go out and spend, you know, $200 or $300 on a wreath. You know, I mean, it'd be nice if they did and come to me, but I want to make sure that, you know, it's accessible to everybody. Okay, 6-inch tail. Then on the left-hand side, we are going to make a, that was like 5.5, right? We're going to make a 5-inch loop. Pinch and twist. Pinch and twist. I don't mind if this loop is tall because it has to compete with how tall the bunny's butt is sticking out, right? So that'll be fine by me. All right. Here we go. Bring this up. I kind of want this to be wider because don't forget we're going to have bunny ears coming up out of this too. And we got to make sure that the ears do not get covered by the bow. So that's why I'm going to put the bow on first and then I will do the ears. It's earmarked for the ears. Sorry, that was really lame. All right, move that over there. But Misty, bows are hard. I know. They are hard. What bow maker do you have? Ooh, wait, there's a hair in my eye. Wait, it's a bunny wreath, so I guess it'd be a hair, H-A-R-E, in my eye. Huh, sorry. It is, what the heck? Get out of my face, man. This is what happens when you decide to grow your bangs out and then you have a sweat fest going on your face. All right. This is a, I believe, 7/8 inch light blue. Now this one already has been cut on an angle. Anything less than 1.5 inches, and I will just cut on an angle. I don't dovetail because otherwise it looks like fangs of a snake. All right, but I'm going to put this one in the center because this is bringing back, you see this blue here in the ribbon? This echoes that color, right? So we're bringing that color right back up to the top. This is 4.5 inch, 4.5 inch, and there we go. Okay, loving it. All right, now I know for sure that I probably want to have 2 pipe cleaners on the back of this wrapped together. So I don't have 18-inch pipe cleaners. I just wrap 2 of them together. So we're going to go with, well, I'm all out of white. So I guess I'm going to have to go with, I don't have any white on it. I'm going to have to go with pink. I have to go with pink, and that's okay. You're not going to see it. But I'm wrapping 2 of these together. I want to have lots of room to work with, and most of this is going to get cut off. But I don't want to be struggling to attach it like I was struggling to attach the bunny butt, okay? And then I have zip tie. Using zip ties for the center of your bow, the tighter you make it, the more it's going to make your loops pop. This is a push-up bra for your bow, all right? This is going to make sure everything's like big and juicy and out there, all right? Here we go. That goes on the back. This goes around the front. Here we go. All right. I'm going to tight. Oh, Jeannie started using designer ribbons for center loop. Yeah, you know what? But that's where the eye goes, is right to the center. So why not just use it in the center? You just need a little bit. Just a little bit. But the wire that you can get on a designer ribbon is, mwah, chef's kiss. It's so good. So good. All right, I'm going to make sure that this goes above the zip tie here. Wiggle it up. I'm going to give it a good twist, okay? You can twist it twice. Okay, here we go. So then I'm just going to bring this up. Okay. I don't want to bring everything down low, though, remember, because we're trying to put the bunny butt under here, and we don't want it to cover the butt. All right? We got to bring this loop up, that there, that up. There we go. That should give us, then we can have our little ears sticking out. So let's move the bow maker. My precious. Sorry. My favorite thing in the world, the bow maker. All right. Oh. Birthday ribbon, what are you doing down there? All right. So I'm bringing this over. All right. You see how now I've got it kind of to the side, but we still want to be able to see that little pattern right here. So I'm gonna run this pipe cleaner, one underneath the inside ring and one over the outer ring. By putting it around both rings, it's going to let me really manipulate how far down this bow is. Is it down low? Is it up higher, right? I try not to go in between. I don't want to try to pierce the mesh with that, though. So here we go. You know what, for this one, I think I can just put it on the first ring. I think we're good, because I want to keep it more down here. Sorry, I know my phone keeps dinging because I forgot to hit Do Not Disturb. I apologize. If anyone's trying to get in touch with me now, don't. Alright. So you see, if I suck real tight, that's sinking the bow. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it up. It can be tight, on there tight, you know, tight enough where you can't yank it up and there's not a gap. But you don't want to really make it super, super tight, because then it feels like it's choking. All right? All right. I've twisted those pipe cleaners together on the back here, so it's sticking out. And I'm just going to take this. We can just wrap it right back in here, into there, and we don't see it. All right, and we're going to center this. Okay, so this is what this looks like so far. We're going to pinch, oops, these 2 loops. Hold on, this should go up a little higher. There we go. I want to pinch these 2 loops together because we want to make sure that we hide our mechanics. We don't want to be able to see that there's a zip tie in there. But now we can kind of fluff this. All right, we can fluff, fluff. Yay. Okay, now we can put the ears in. They're going to go right here. Okay, so let me grab the ears. And they're kind of glued a little off center, but I think they kind of go like this. That bow just looks, the bow looks off to me. Let me see if I can get it off and re-glue it, because yeah, it looks a little off to me. So I'm going to get my scissors and I'm just going to try to snip some of that glue off as best I can. And coming at it from underneath kind of gives me a bit of a better angle. And sometimes you don't even have to cut. You just kind of put your scissors in there, just kind of poke them through, and just kind of pull, and the glue will naturally kind of move away from it. Okay, snip that. And I do have a glue gun, so if any of this comes apart, I can glue it right back together. But it's just, it's not centered, and that's going to bother me, and it's going to make my design look off if I don't fix it. So I'd rather take the time to address it. Oh no! Sorry. I dropped you guys. I knocked you off my left, you know, my sweetie sickle over there. I don't know. All right. I'm going to snip this. Okay. So got that off. Not too bad. And this down here you're not going to see because we're going to have stuff in front of it. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to earmark this as ear number 1. It's bad, Linda. It's bad. It's bad, Linda. Just stop. Okay. And I think I'm going to want to attach it to ring 1, because if I put it on ring 2, that's awfully tall and way up there. But if I put it right here, it still can bend behind there a little bit. But then you know what? That's kind of, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is kind of put the mesh behind it, because I want you to be able to see the ears. And then there's a little bow, but I think that's a little too far back. So let me just kind of position it. Give me a second. I'm going to kind of do a temporary position. I'm just going to set it in there, and we're going to see where this comes up, where I want to put it, and then where I want the bow. Okay, and those can kind of go to the side. That'll come up there. So it would kind of look like that. What do we think? What do we think? Let me know in the comments. Does that look okay? Should I go up? Should I go down? Should I go up or down? Let me know what you guys think. Hello. Lori Jefferson's from New York. Awesome. Hello, New York. Did you guys get slammed with snow? Because it looks like you guys got a lot of snow. Here in the Windy City, we didn't get anything, so I'm sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad. I think I'm going to kind of maybe... Yeah, I'm gonna go on ring 1. I don't want to go any further. So I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna bend. Now fortunately, there's enough wire this time where I'm not gonna have to struggle. But I also want to make sure that I don't put the ears too close together, right? There should be a gap between the ears. And then that bow will kind of fill up the gap between the ears. So I'm gonna put that in there. Bending with one hand and holding the ear in place with the other. Look at me doing 2 things at once. All right. Okay. And then I'm just going to bend that extra wire. I can even take it up and bend it around ring 2 so that it's really adding a lot of extra security. But then the ends of the wire are poking into the inside of the wreath, not on the outside, because you don't want somebody to get hurt. All right. Okay, now I'm going to do this with the second one. See, you see it comes, these attachments always have ears. I've got some bunny butts that I will be posting. I think I've got some that are pink. I think maybe one that's white. I don't know if it has the overalls like this one, but they do have, there's definite butts, and they have the ears with them as well. Butts and ears, baby. It's all about the butts and ears. Buccaneers? No, butts and ears. Here we go. Make sure the height is good. I don't want one to be taller than the other. Kind of like how one of you guys is bigger than the other, but we won't say who. It's the left one. All right, and I'm going to bring that wire up and dig it right back into the wreath frame. Going around. Okay. All right, so those are the ears. I think I like them. I think it looks good. I think I like it. I think I like it. But I want to put on the bow, all right? And I'm trying real hard to make sure that the ribbon from the bow is not going to go in front of this one, okay? This one's even like, okay, hold on. Hold on. It's off center here. That's going to bother me too. So let's fix it. You know, sometimes you get stuff and it's not, you know, not quite right. So you just have to do a little manipulation. See what we're going to do. See what we're, I can't even slide that bait. That is glued on there, man. That is glued. All right. Pull it off from the back here. Okay. I'll cut that off. Snip, snip. You know, just taking a little bit of extra time to make sure things look good is worth it. Okay. Now that's going to look a lot better being centered. I think it will. Does that look good? Yes, that looks good. Okay, so here comes the part where Linda's hoping she doesn't burn the crap out of herself. Okay, I'm going to hold that there for just a moment. Do, 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 do. Do you guys know what you're doing for Easter yet? Do you guys have plans yet? I don't know what we're doing. I think we are going to go to a restaurant that features good bohemian food. I grew up in a house that revered pork, tenderloin, and dumplings. Ah, the good stuff. If I had more energy, I would cook, but I don't. It's funny though, like the cultural restaurants that we used to go to, they're all kind of going away. You know, they were very big in Chicago here, especially when I was growing up, but now it's just like, they just go away. It makes me sad. Here we go. All right. That's holding. That's holding good, okay? That is good. Now, doesn't that look better? Much, much better. That was off by like a whole ½ inch. All right, so I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to put this bow I don't want the blue bow to get covered by the other thing, so I am going to make sure I'm going to put some glue on there, and I'll put some glue on here. I'm putting glue on the ears, not on the bow. Okay, and then I'm pressing the bow onto the ears. I'm holding it. I'm holding it so it doesn't move. Yeah, we'll bring that one behind a little bit. There we go. I'm just trying to make sure that the bow, you know, it's not covering the ears, but I want to make it feel like it's just, you know, all cohesive, how it kind of goes up there and whatnot. And I think it's looking good. I think it's looking good. I do want to pull that loop down a little bit. Move that one over. Because I don't mind if this one comes up in the center, because all you're going to miss then is seeing the little bow. Just go in the center of that. But I think we're good. I think we're good. All right. Nah, that's covering it too much. I'll move it over. All right. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. It's so cute. But we are not done yet. Oh no, we have a lot more to do. I did not make the bunny. I got this as an attachment from where I shop at a wholesaler. So bunny didn't come from me, but I am going to be listing some similar bunny butts in my shop. My shop is called Sweet Aria Decor. And then and then you know how a website usually ends with those 3 little letters. It's that, and it's going to take you to my Etsy shop. If I say it, it's going to... Social media does not like you to mention your shop name, because then people will leave and go to the other website, and they don't like that. They get really angry. They will take your users and just boop, kick half of them off. It's terrible. TikTok did that all the time. It was crazy. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to answer some questions. Ears are okay. So are your ears back on the ear debate? Yeah, I think I like where the ears went. I like where the ears are, but I also want to bend them back a little bit, because any ears just coming straight up kind of looks weird. But if you can see from a profile, kind of just bending them back just a little bit, because that's not how things lay in nature, right? Like with his legs, like I might actually, I'm gonna bend his little feet up a little bit, right? Or maybe we can even cross the legs or something like that, right? But having the legs just sticking straight out by itself is a little weird, so we can kind of go like that with his feet, right? Kind of just like that. Make it look natural, all right? So now we have the bow, but we still want to bring that fabric through the rest of the wreath. So I'm going to do that with, we could do that with the magic of ribbon tails, but I'm actually going to use some cascades. But I also want to put in some 4-inch tails. Let's make some tails, baby. Let's make some tails. All right, hopefully you guys can still see over here off to the side where I'm going to measure it. Now, I'm going to take the pin back out. When I make ribbon tails for a regular wreath, I usually do it at 14 inches. But because this is 4-inch ribbon, and it also it's going to get sucked into that wreath a little bit more. So we're probably going to cut these at like, I'm going to cut one at 16, and I'm going to see if that's too much. So here I've cut this at 16 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to dovetail it. Boop. Boop. Here we go. Dovetailing both ends at the same time because I'm lazy. All right. So then I'm going to bend it in half to find my center point. Okay. Right here. That's the butt crack of the tail. And I'm just going to gather it up like that. I'm just going to gather it up. Right? Now, I'm going to probably put this on the outside, I think. Put it on the outside. All right? So I'm just going to, like I did with the mesh, I found 2 pieces of, 2 of the little branches, and I just kind of twist it together and put it in there. All right? I should have done that, you guys facing me, but that's what I did right here. Okay? Super cute. Liking it. I like that. I'm going to do a couple more. So now that I know that the 16 works well, I'm going to cut a couple of them. Okay? So let's... I'm stupid. Just put it over there, Linda. You know, sometimes I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, guys. Not the smartest tool in the shed. All right. There's one. I don't have a I do have a 16-inch ribbon tail board, actually. That's all right. I'm going to do this by hand. 1, 2. I'm going to kind of go around. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, maybe 8. I don't know. I just want to get enough good coverage. I want this one to be full. This is going to be a big wreath. She's going to be full. She's going to be full. Normally, when I make a wreath like this, I will do it in, like, I can't go straight through. So I am going straight through tonight, but boy, I am going to pay for it tomorrow when I wake up. My back is already hurting. So when you are crafting, please don't feel like you have to make the whole dang thing at once, because you don't. Unless you're doing a live. Because then it's just like, oh my gosh. That's all right. I'm excited. You know why? I just remembered that I have leftover minestrone soup and breadsticks from Olive Garden. I forgot I've got the make your own, like the take your own pasta for $6. I'm so excited. I gotta cut one more, that'll make it 7, and the one I already have on there makes it 8. And if I don't use it, I know other project I can use this in. So I just don't like to cut too much at one time. Okay, you're gonna go back down there. All right, so now I'm gonna take all my ends and make sure that they line up. Okay, so they're all kind of lined up here. And I'm gonna bend them all. Boop. See if I get a nice good cut with this. I'm going to do 4 and 4. Because if you have really, really sharp, like brand new scissors that can cut through all this, great. But I don't want to end up having an end that doesn't look very sharply cut. So there we go. All right. There we go. All right. There are our 4-inch tails. I saw somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but she had saved her ribbon tails, and then she had a big old board with the shape of a ribbon, and she glued some of her leftover, like the little ribbon tail scraps. She glued it on there, and it was like, oh my God, what a wonderful project to do. And I wish I could remember who it was. I got to go back and find out who, because she was awesome. Okay, here I've got this. We have one here. I want to put one on either side of the ears. Okay, so if we're looking at a clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, that's kind of like, I don't know, that's like a 9 o'clock. I'm going to kind of put this at 11 here. All right, and again, it's going on the outside. I'm just finding 2 branches that are close to each other. And I'm pushing that. I'm not using one that the mesh is in. You can if you want to, but I'm not. Okay, so you can see I got one there, one here. Now I'm going to go on the opposite side of the ears. Because I didn't want to put it right behind the ears, because then you have tails coming right behind the ears, and that looks just, it's too much of a V shape coming in at the same spot. It was just a little too much there, a little too much. All right. This one almost could have gone where that purple is, but I've got the extra branches in there, so why not just use those? Okay, there we go. All right, bring it around. I'm going to go kind of even with that one. Got a good spot right here. I'm just literally finding 2 branches that are close to each other. I'm going to bend this in half, find the middle point. I'm going to gather it up the middle. Pinching my right one in the process. All right, so just got to pinch it. Also kind of like pop your loops a little bit. All right, I'm going to put that right in. All right, going around. Coming in down here. Got another one we're going to do. I like this because you know what? It's really bringing in the pink that's on his feet and the pink that's in the ears, because there is a lot of the yellow and purple is pretty heavy in here, right? But I do like the yellow. It's cute. All right. I'm going to put one over on this side. So this is probably at like the 7 o'clock-ish position. And I'm actually going to put this one in where some mesh is, just because that spot's there. All right, I'll go in between there. I changed my mind. I'm just going for some branches between where I put the mesh in. I think that lets me put it in a little bit deeper, and it's not kind of at the same level as the mesh. Okay, and I got 2 left, but I really kind of think I only need 1, maybe, right underneath his feet. So it would kind of pop out. His feet are a little separated. We kind of see that popping out right there. So let me do that. Gotta move his feet though. They're cute feet, but they in the way. Move, bunny. Get out the way. Get out the way. No, that's not the song. All right. Where was that other one? Okay. All right, so we've got that in, which is really, really cute. All right. All right, that's what we've got. That's what we got on the outside. I was debating whether I'm going to do tails on the inside or if I'm going to do cascades, and I kind of want to do cascades, but I don't know. I think there's already a lot on here. I think I might just do some tails. Yeah, I'm just going to do some tails. I thought this was going to be cascades, but I've changed my mind, as I am allowed to do. So I'm going to move that over to the side. I want to make sure you guys can both still see me. Oh, my aunt is on. Hello, Aunt Sue. How's it going? You know, I still haven't watched the Tony Gary episode of General Hospital yet. I'm getting close, but I'm still like 6 episodes behind for the week. I've been too busy to watch my soaps. All right, I'm going to stray hairs here, the curls. There we go. All right, I'm going to move Bunny Bunny down to the floor again, just so you guys can see what I'm doing with the tails. And these are going to kind of go more like on some are on the inside, and then on the, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,